Shane Beamer on those staffs for a couple of years that helped Steve Spurrier build up to that 10-13
Absolutely.
run. We saw
he knows the lay of the land.
Right. And I wanted to ask you about, again, you talked about before, you obviously know Frank Beamer very well and Shane Beamer. What do you feel is going to make Shane Beamer, or could make Shane Beamer successful? Things you like about him? Again, a guy that's paid his dues. He's not too big for his britches. But again, just knowing Shane Beamer, the Beamer family as a whole, I'm sure he's going to take a lot from what his dad did at Virginia Tech and the way he coached. I'm sure that's one of the guys certainly he's taken a ton away from. But overall, like you said, this Beamer ball era starting in Columbia, why should Gamecock fans, would you say, feel optimistic about it?
Well, I think he's got a hands-on aspect to his approach to coaching that Spurrier does. Steve used to live vicariously through his quarterback on every play. And we used to say that he was not your typical coach. And if he there was never any misunderstanding that Steve was the ball coach and that he was going to call the ball plays. Yet his dad was the ultimate CEO that loved to delegate. And, being around greatness, and Shane's been around greatness, but there are different ways to be great. You can't do it the same way as the other coach. You have to do it your way, and he's been around guys that know think about it. Lincoln Riley, Steve Spurrier, most recently, and then the time that he spent, as an understudy to his father, it's pretty amazing. So I think he's taking some from here, and then you put that together and throw some originality on it. And, he's a lot more outgoing than Frank. Frank was always a very kind and enjoyable guy, an accessible guy to be around. But Frank would never really light you up with an interview. He would just kind of take it easy, fancy Gap, Virginia guy. And, that it was just kind of down home. Shane's a ball of fire. He's a charismatic, hands-on, but he'll walk up to you and put out his hand to say hello before you do. That's just who he is. And being around type A's like Steve and Lincoln, who are that way, both not only personally, but professionally, I think that's going to rub off beautifully with him and will really wear well for the long haul in Columbia.